Hey, it's your friend Choice CJ here, and I'm bringing you guys week 9 of my P4G Next Generation. And things are starting to come to a close here in P4G Next Generation. We have 3 weeks left. Our 3 opponents are in week 11, it is Aaron 2420, coach of Calgary Infernapes. Week 10 is Matt O'Shea, coach of Montreal Melodics. And of course, now in week 9, we do have to go up against General Tar Heel, coach of the Charlotte Charizards. So Tar Heel and I are like directly competing for playoff spots here. There's a whole bunch of us that are sort of like in the last few spots, like where there's 8 playoff spots, and I think there's like 3 or 4 people who are clinched, more or less, and then there's like 6 or 7 of us that are fighting for the last 4 to 5 spots. So we do not obviously want to be on the outside looking in when playoffs come around. So it's really important that we get a couple of wins in these next few weeks. And it's not going to be easy versus Tar Heel because he has the league's top kill getter in Kiram Black. This thing, up to this point, I think has 14 kills on the season. And I'll just go over the rest of his team as well. He has Kiram, Nidoqueen, Blastoise, Cobalion, Gligar, Lantern, Mega Diancie, Tangrowth, Entei, Alolan Persian, and Selgor. So yeah, like Kiram is just a Mon that eats balance for breakfast and eats bulky offense for breakfast. It struggles a little more with some offensive sets, with some offensive teams. He can run like Choice Scarf Kiram to help mitigate that somewhat. So that's something to note. And my team doesn't do that great versus Scarf Ice Beam. I do have Scizor to try and deal with that, but otherwise it's unresisted, so that's a little scary. But I think I have a team equipped to handle that. Because, yeah, I'm just bringing a very offensive team this week. He does have some bulky stuff that makes the sort of offense that I'm bringing a little bit difficult to play with. Like Blastoise, Tangrowth, and Lantern in particular are really annoying. And then, like, for my water sweepers in particular. And then things like Nidoqueen and Gligar are really annoying for Coco. But I think I have enough Volt Turn on this team that I'll be able to abuse that. So that's going to be my plan. I've got a couple of different sweepers that I can use, a couple of different ways to win. So if I can just, sort of figure out what do I want to win with in the late game, and then preserve that till the end, and then use everything else to wall break, I think I'll be in good shape. So let's go through the team. I'm actually going to be putting this up as a separate team builder. This is the first time I've done this in several weeks. And I'm actually recording this before I play the battle. Usually I've been recording after the battle takes place just because I've been like busy or I'm prepping until the last minute. I mean, I basically am. I have like 11 minutes until I need to play, and I still have to make a few tweaks to the team that I genned. But I can do that in a moment here when I'm all done talking to you guys. But we have a Spadef Scizor here. This is like the most defensive thing on my team. And it's very difficult for him to deal with, I think, especially with rain support. But U-turn, knockoff, bullet punch, like pretty standard coverage. U-turn to take advantage of things like Nidoqueen that would be switching in. I can make it lose its Black Sludge or its Rocky Helmet or whatever. I can knock off Lantern that switches in. That thing is definitely neutered without leftovers. You know, so on and so forth. Bullet Punch, really important move for Diancie and Kiram. So nothing too surprising here. And then in terms of our EP spread, it's pretty much full Spadef. Excuse me, I've been like sick for the last week or so. And so talking so much makes my throat really dry and makes it hurt a little bit, but I will press on for the sake of the video. Yeah, just full Spadef to deal with HP Fire from Kiram and Diancie as well as possible. To support Scizor, we do have a Damp Rock Pelipper, and this will allow me to have Rain for as long as possible so that Scizor is stronger against the Fire-type moves for as long as possible. And the moveset is pretty nice. Scald, Hurricane, U-turn. U-turn to switch out on things that are pivoting in, like Lantern. And then otherwise, Scald and Hurricane is more or less unresisted on his team. The only thing that can kind of take one hit is Kiram Black. And, if I can whittle down Kiram Black over time, I'll be pretty happy. But Tailwind, I think, is the gem here. This allows me to outspeed even a max speed of Selgor. And I can start claiming lives on his team with this Pelipper. Because we do have a Modest Nature, and then, Modest Nature plus the Rain makes Scalds very strong, makes Hurricanes very strong. Tailwind is nice because it also supports other members of the team. Like, I can use it to potentially sweep with this Seismitoad. I have a pretty offensive-looking Seismitoad. It's Water Absorb and not Swift Swim, just because I think Water Absorb is so pivotal in this match. It allows me to switch in really easily on Lantern. It allows me to set up rocks very comfortably on Blastoise, because yes, it can spin, but I can Toxic it, and then it can never go for Scalds versus me. It's forced to go for coverage moves like Ice Beam or whatever, and that's not nearly as strong, because it's not Rain boosted, and it's not Stab. But yeah, other than Tangrowth, just Scald plus Earth Power is very nice versus his team. And yeah, just enough speed on here so that when we get a Tailwind, we can outspeed a Selgor. And this allows us to also outspeed things like Gligar, assuming that the Gligar does not have any speed investment. So with this thing, like with Seismitoad and Pelipper, these are the mons that I'm going to be pivoting into with my Tapu Koko. We have a Pixie Plate Koko, Thunder, Dazzling Gleam, U-Turn, and Defog. U-Turn just because his most likely switch-ins to this thing, like he's got a bunch of different switch-ins. He's got Nidoqueen, Lantern, Tangrowth, and Gligar. And like all those mons either get taken care of by Seismitoad or by Pelipper. So that's going to be the plan there. I can go in and I can either, you know, pressure those mons, I can threaten them out and go for Stealth Rock, or I can go for Tailwind or whatever. But that's kind of the plan with this mon. I don't think this mon's going to sweep on its own. Dazzling Gleam is fairly good versus his team. It's just resisted by Entei and by Nidoqueen. But I don't think Entei is a realistic bring. Even though it's a good Scizor check, I think he's going to be better off bringing like Lantern and Nidoqueen that are more multifunctional. Like Entei is like only good for Scizor, and then it's neutered anyway by the rain. So I don't think it's too likely of a bring. So yeah, Dazzling Gleam is nice. But I just don't think this is going to be the sweeper. This is just going to be the mon that gives me offensive opportunities. And then I'm running Modest. This does leave me open to being outsped by max speed Alolan Persian. But Persian doesn't really threaten Koko to begin with. And I don't think that he'll be running a max speed Alolan Persian anyway. So we just put enough speed on here to outspeed Diancie, and then I think that'll be good enough. So next mon is Musharna. Trick Room Musharna is what we're bringing this week. He doesn't really have Psychic Resists besides Alolan Persian, and Alolan Persian is going to get blown back by a Dazzling Gleam, so that's looking really nice. We could have put Moonlight in this last slot, but because we do have the rain, that's going to weaken our Moonlights. We only recover 25% instead of a full 50. So I thought Healing Wish would be nicer, because that allows us to play a little bit more recklessly with some of our other mons that you see here. So bring this in, you know, do damage with Musharna, and then get off a Healing Wish. Maybe it's like the last turn of Trick Room, we can go for Healing Wish, or, you know, do something else, so that's pretty nice. And then just a standard spread here. And then my main sweeper that I'm anticipating is going to do work this week is my Armaldo. This coverage at +2 just bodies most of his team. Like, the mons that deal with it best are a Fizdef Gliscor. Fizdef Gliscor takes like 66 or so from a +2 Stone Edge with Stone Plate. Blastoise, I think, takes like 84 if it's fully Fizdef. So we just need a little bit of chip damage on those things. And like for Blastoise, it's like very, very little. Because as long as we have rocks up, like we already have like a 75% chance to OHKO. But otherwise, if we can just get like one U-turn off on it or something with Pelipper, we'll be in good shape. And I think there's a few mons that Armaldo actually can set up on pretty reasonably well. Like a Selgor, even like Nidoqueen or something can kind of be fodder for it. Gligar, Tangrowth. The only things that aren't set up fodder are the water types, and I guess Cobalion, because Cobalion does have the iron, not the iron typing. It's got Iron Head, which is a steel move. And I guess maybe Persian is not set up fodder because it can go for foul play versus me, which is a little scary. But yeah, I think this mon just goes in. Like Nidoqueen, if it's fully Fizdef, dies to Earthquake. Cobalion dies to Earthquake. So this mon can really apply a lot of pressure. And like I don't have to set up with it in order to win, but I think I'd like to. I think that just makes it a whole lot easier. And that's, you know, probably we're running Damp Rock just to make this very easy to sweep with. So anyway, I am getting messaged by Tar Heel as we speak, and I still have to make one final tweak to the team. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And make sure you guys stay tuned in for the battle tomorrow. Should be going up around this same time, like 4 or 5 p.m. or so. We'll make a judgment call. I should be putting it up Thursday night because the last couple weeks I've been putting it up like late Friday afternoon, but we have St. Patrick's Day happy hour at work, so hopefully I can do it before because otherwise it's not going to go up on time on Friday. But that's probably in the category of TMI. You guys don't care about that stuff. You only care about fake digital monsters blowing each other up with stone edges and thunderbolts and things like that. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you check back to the channel for other gaming Pokemon content. Until the next time, I will see you guys later.